CJ, your initial reaction to this news?
Well, it's disappointing, and I would say it's a little bit surprising. I mean, clearly, the league wanted some clarity on the issue with the playoffs approaching, but I was among the group all along that felt that their public statements were more part of a larger bargaining ploy here, and obviously a new deal didn't emerge that allowed them to take something to the owners and say this is a reason we're going to go in this case. And as a result, I think that we got 3 days worth of conversation as players, coaches, everyone associated with the game starts unpacking this thing.
So it's breaking news. We're just gathering information as we speak right now. The NHL is not going to South Korea in 2018. CJ, I'll start this question for you, but Elliot and Nick, feel free to chime in. So no NHL 2018 in South Korea. We saw Gary Bettman in China last week announcing a couple of preseason games between the Canucks and Kings for next year in China. Does this take China off the table, or is this a one-off as far as NHLers not going to the Olympics? Chris?
I think it's a little too premature to know yet about 2022. I mean, in recent days here, the International Olympic Committee has started making some strong statements about if the NHL doesn't go in 2018, that 2022 would be taken off the table. But that hasn't been something we've heard throughout these discussions. And over time here, I think that there's still a lot of time to make another deal that might send them to that point. But clearly the league has a lot of interest with China and the market there, and I would have to imagine the Olympics there is a totally different conversation than one in South Korea.
Especially just coming back from China, along with the NHL Players Association, and setting up those exhibition games. I do believe that the league feels like China isn't necessarily in jeopardy, and although we've heard whispers that you can't have one without the other, perhaps that was much of a negotiation ploy on the IOC's part more than anything moving forward. I think you're just going to have to wait. I don't think you can make an announcement one way or the other until you see what happens in South Korea with non-NHL players. I think that would be the biggest telling tale on how much the NHL wants. We know they want to come back to China, but how badly will the IOC want them back after experiencing non-NHL players this time around?
4 years is a long time. Like, what was Phil Esposito's line when he used to make all those trades and with the New York Rangers? I could be hit by a bus tomorrow. Like, I think Nick's bang on there in the sense that there's going to be a long time between now and then. I think the role of the Chinese government is going to be a big one. I believe in Sochi. One of the reasons that there was more of a willingness to pay that money from the IOC that they're not getting now was because the Russian government wanted the pros there. I think the Russian government played a huge role in making sure that everything was okay for the NHL players in Sochi. And if this continues to grow in China the way it looks like it's starting to, and China does want to be a winter sports power in its own Olympics, then I do think the Chinese government will find a way to get the NHL players there.